This is always the worst Monday of the year.
I guess with that, good evening and welcome to the Depression Protocol here in Philadelphia. We are the Trust the Process live crew brought to you by MyNEWPhilly. And like I said, it's we are in Depression Protocol just like Carson Wentz is in Concussion Protocol, unfortunately. But that being said, we came into I'm Blue because, as you can see, our friend Maximilian is obviously blue.
It's the worst Monday of the year, every year.
Yeah.
It's there's no sadder Monday than the Monday after your team's last game.
There's just not.
Yeah.
It's just not.
In all sports.
And honestly, it's only worse the longer the playoffs go. So like this is kind of like getting the Band-Aid ripped off before it's like glued to you.
Right, and it's tough because both of them. It's horrible to see a player leave a game with an injury, especially early in the game, especially when they're so important. And then also you get the elimination. It's a double whammy today.
Real quick before we start,
I'm
sorry, this is
out of left field. Is this a fire hazard?
Well, it definitely is, but we're not going to say anything if you won't.
This is in memoriam of the 2018-19 Philadelphia Eagles season.
Yeah.
All of the injuries that we sustained along the way. One playoff loss that happened.
Do you want to say a word?
Yeah, if we could all just have a quick moment of silence. Dear God, we all know you love Carson Wentz, and it's pretty obvious, so hopefully his brain will recover and his head is not still smushed into the ground because of dirty Jadeveon Clowney, the Eagles quarterback target. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, we pray and give you thanks.
In the name of Doug, Foles, everybody else.
Everybody
Doug,
else.
Howie, and the Philly special.
So we're gonna move right into the main event, guys.
This is just so you guys know. This is staying all show.
I was with it.
Yeah.
Put that front and center.
Okay.
So we're gonna move right into the main event, guys, and we're gonna talk just a little bit about that's just crushing loss. And
So, to pivot, does this loss rest
solely on Jadeveon Clowney's shoulder and in turn the back of Carson Wentz's helmet?
Yes, because the Seahawks struggled to beat us 17-9 with Josh McCown throwing the ball like 25 times. So neither one of you two, I'm giving you a heads up now. You can try your best, but neither one of you two are going to make me get up from this chair and think anything but the Eagles would have handily won this game with Carson Wentz playing more than 8. He played 8 snaps. This
5 with a concussion?
Yeah, 5 with a concussion, exactly. So those don't even really count.
I mean, me wasn't going to try, so.
Yeah, so yes, this has to be on Jadeveon Clowney because it's like you work, all these injuries happen, and it's like, hey, Carson's doing it, Carson's good, Carson's doing it. This is the Carson's year, and like this literally felt like it was just a cruel joke because for weeks, months, years, I've had to listen to people from the East Coast to Alaska say that Carson Wentz can't stay healthy, and for that reason, he'll never win a playoff game. And all those idiots who probably think that like Mitch Trubisky's a better quarterback because he runs more, or Dak Prescott's a better quarterback because he has Amari Cooper, all those people are vindicated, and really that is what irks me more than anything.
I like that you said Mitch first, but what about you? People like Mitch more than Carson.
No, but I'm sure there's someone out there that's like, well, according to ESPN's QBR stat,
Mitch Trubisky's 0.6 higher because of his rushing ability or some dumb stuff like that.
That person sucks. Does the loss rest solely on Jadeveon Clowney's shoulder? No. You just said it. They played well without Wentz. You can't look around and say McCown went like 8 for 24. He had a good game.
Well,
he was a couple of those passes were good. He's a 40-year-old man making his playoff debut. They were in a position to win or tie the game multiple times at the end of it. You can't tell me that literally 8 plays into the game, Carson comes out and the game's over because the game wasn't over.
I mean, it felt like
it did feel over. Like it was just like, to me and to everyone that I was with, it was just like, yep, of course this happened. Whatever, dude. Just let me sit here for the next 3 hours and hopefully they find a way.
I don't know. That's a defeatist attitude from all of Philadelphia. If that's the way they felt.
We're
what happened
to
to
go
next
down
man
that road.
up? What happened to, we got to do our job. We got to step in when other people go down. All that went out the window because it's McCown and not Foles?
That's the most valuable position on a 53-man roster. Come on now.
I don't disagree with you, but did he come in and play terribly?
I'm not going to say terribly, but we also
either.
can't call it good because it wasn't. It was mediocre.
He played exactly like a 40-year-old backup
He played exactly like a 40-year-old backup quarterback with no reps with the ones would.
But if Sanders catches that ball, we could be having an entirely different conversation today.
Yeah. Maybe, maybe not.
But that's what I'm saying. If it's a maybe, maybe not situation, then the game does not end on that hit.
The game wouldn't end on that hit, but then again, what are we going to extrapolate a swing pass to a running back?
I think that swing pass shouldn't even be in question because with your best quarterback and your best player, you're most likely up a touchdown by the fourth quarter instead of down a touchdown.
And I'll give it to Josh McCown, though. That man took some hits, and he was clearly laboring in his fresh custom.
Yeah, he did. I kept pointing out. That's what gave me the most amount of hope. I'm like, our 40-year-old suburban dad quarterback has like the nicest cleats on the offensive side of the ball. We're not done.
He's wearing Jordan 1s out here, man.
Him, Bobby Wagner, Michael Thomas.
I think Peters actually wears ones too.
Yeah, truly the best NFL athletes wear Jordan cleats.
I mean, Jordan 1s, you can't really beat them. So to pivot from that into what Sean would call a failure on the part of Miles Sanders to catch that ball. Yeah. We're going to pivot into asking the question, and I want you guys, the viewers, to share the show because I want to hear what your reactions are to this question, and I want other people's reactions too. I'm going to pivot and ask the question that is going to say, would you call this Eagles season a success? And before you answer, let that sink in.
This is a loaded question. You knew
it is.
This is a very loaded question.
It is, and I'm going to preface this. By giving you my thoughts. I think it is a success, mainly due to the point that there's a list of injured starters that I can't count on two hands. Mm-hmm. So if we're going to take away, the only takeaway from this season is that Carson can stay healthy for a 16-game season and lose it on a fluky injury. And two takeaways. But the second takeaway is that the new norm under Doug Peterson is now literally just grit. The one thing this city holds above everything else, if you can lose this many players and still make a wild card, or still win the division and hold a wild card team to a one-possession game with a 40-year-old backup journeyman quarterback, I think that's a success.
So I think you said the key person, and let me start from the beginning. The expectations for the team were sky high. The injuries happened. For my money, those reset. This is almost playing with house money when you get into the playoffs like this. This season is not a success for the Eagles for me. Moral victory, maybe you can take it, but here's my issue. Moral victory is not a success in my opinion. My reason I say no, this whole season was Wentz taking the reins on the team, in my opinion. It started out with, is Wentz our guy? There was a lot of, are we trading Carson Wentz talk on the radio, which was ridiculous. It happens all the time. But he just got it back. He just got this offense exactly where he wanted. He was blazing hot, and then he gets injured. And now he's going to have to hear all offseason about all of these aggregators. And let me look right here. If you are attributing this concussion to Carson Wentz being injury prone, you're a moron. And stop talking. Just stop engaging with people. Shout out to Chris Long and Seth and everyone who is getting after people, like Josina Anderson, who is coming at people. I'm at him. It is not a success because he just got that confidence. He just gained this city, and now he's going to have to hear a whole offseason about Nick Foles again. Nick Foles was just buried. He was in the grave.
He is in the grave still. Yeah. I want to agree with both you guys. My best answer for this is I guess it's a successful season. I think that the one thing that everybody needs to keep in mind, players, front office staff, even us as fans, like this is not a sustainable way to succeed in the NFL. Like it is great being the team that can rally from a third of the roster being hurt every year, and we have the great coach who can rally guys like Boston Scott and Greg Ward and the receivers who I literally can't even remember their name because they've been on the active roster for 2 or 3 weeks.
Deontay Burnett.
Thank you. But on the other hand, this isn't sustainable. Like you can't plan for this. No team plans for this. But I think this has to come from somewhere. Like I don't like pointing fingers at the medical staff, but why does this happen every year? Why does this happen every year? Why every single year in the last half a decade do the Eagles lose considerable talent and they find a way to overcome it, which is awesome, which sets a great foundation moving forward, which I totally agree with what you said. But you're 100% right too, is that it all just kind of blew up at the end, and it's like me as an Eagles fan, over the last 6 weeks before this playoff game, I've sat through so much in terms of up and down performances and injuries and watching the offense look terrible at times because there's no chemistry there. And finally, when it feels like everything got tied up at the end, after I sat through a quarter of an NFL or a third of an NFL season watching, undrafted rookie free agents play, 8 snaps in to my team's hopeful playoff run, we lose our quarterback. And nothing can feel like a success after that. Because maybe this is just me talking. There's a very sour taste in my mouth right now. I'm very, very upset that things transpired the way they did. And honestly, I can't right now. Maybe you come back to me in a couple weeks when it's not, the Black Monday for Eagles fans. Maybe you come back to me in a couple weeks and I'll feel different. But I can't call this season a success because right now I'm just pissed about how everything transpired, honestly.
That is very fair. That is. I can't fault you for that. So I talked to you guys about, before I get into it, do not forget to comment on this show what you think, or whether you think this Eagles season was a success or not, because we want to hear what you want to think, because honestly, we're split up here. We really are. He's in the middle.
1.5 to 1.5.
We're split up here, so we need you guys to be the deciding factor. So,
real quick, I'm also very curious to hear what other Eagles fans, if anyone shares my sentiment, if people are on the whole opposite side of the page from me, because we are a very reactionary sports town in general.
Yeah.
We got some company here.
We got a little company. So I talked to you guys a little bit about the list of injured players that I can't count on 2 hands. That's leading me to the question, what is the biggest off-season need for this team? And I, again, can't count on 2 hands.
All right, so this is maybe a little bit broader than you're looking for. Super cliche, but the Eagles need a good draft. All of these injury problems seem to root back to us taking the chance on big name or big contract free agents, and it doesn't work. And yes, I know every team wants a good draft every year, but I'm saying the only way you can break this vicious cycle is if you can actually draft some guys who can become year 1 contributors, so you don't need to worry about filling your 2 wide receiver slots with free agents every year and a cornerback slot with free agents and defensive line and linebackers. It's every year for the last couple of years, and that's sustainable to an extent. You can fill certain holes, but you can't duct tape the whole right side of your ship together with guys who are over 30 looking for a 2-3 year payday.
But we're talking about the guy who holds the keys to the bank account that's going to buy the duct tape. We haven't talked about this guy for weeks, and he's somehow still skating under the radar. Howie Roseman. Like, what is there a bone in your magnificently chiseled body that tells you that Howie Roseman? You stop that. Is there a bone in your body that tells you Howie Roseman is going to have a good draft? Because
I can't say a good draft. Like, at this point, I just hope for like a serviceable, like 1 starter and 2 like fringe contributors, because I can't reasonably expect more than that, and that sucks. But I need this blind squirrel to find his way to a nut this upcoming April or March or whenever the hell the NFL draft is going to be. The Eagles need a good draft this year because they're starting to kind of get into that mindset, like I said, that hey, we can sign 6 or 7 guys off the free agent market, and we can expect all 6 or 7 of them to be key contributors. No, you can maybe get 1, 2, 3 if you're lucky and have a ton of cash to spend, maybe 4 or 5. But realistically,
they don't even have a ton of cash to
exactly,
spend.
And that's why they can't rely on getting guys looking for 1 or 2 year deals for cheap to prove themselves. They can't rely on that every year. Eventually, it's going to bite them in the ass, and I'm surprised it didn't this year with all these injuries. Thankfully, they didn't need a good draft to find guys on the practice squad who are hungry and capable and are able to play at a somewhat high level. We don't really know what like Boston Scott and Greg Ward and Burnett are capable of because we only saw them in limited action in the last quarter of the season. So I don't even know if they're going to be good NFL players or if it's just a classic case of the league hasn't caught up to you yet, but you catch them next year and they're averaging 2.8 yards a carry, not getting open, stuff like that. You need a good draft where your first, your second, and your third round picks all become something. They don't need to be Pro Bowlers. They don't need to be all pros. They just need to be something.
If anybody's banking on Greg Ward being the team's leading receiver next year, I think you're kind of foolish because you played the Dallas Cowboys, the Washington Redskins, and the New York Giants.
But is he not a piece?
Dude, he can be your fourth wide receiver and catch a nice 20-yard pass when everybody else is covered.
But that's fair. I'm not asking Greg Ward to be a starter on this team. I think he could be a fringe starter, though.
Yeah.
I just want to get back to your point. A good draft to you is like 2 starters and 2 fringe players.
They whiffed on Derek Barnett.
The bar is.
I don't want to go that far.
They
yet.
whiffed on Derek
I wouldn't go
Barnett.
that
The
far
bar
just
couldn't
yet.
be lower for your expectations.
No, absolutely
for
not.
this
The
draft.
Eagles have a poor history of drafting under this ownership, and it's been that way since hell. Even I was a kid, and I knew that drafting was important to building a successful sports franchise. Like that's just how it is. We are not necessarily a whole city that does this, but the Eagles are most certainly a team that free agents look at because they know that every year we're in the mix for free agents because every year we have holes that are not filled by guys that we drafted. Every year. So for once, I would like to see that change.
So my number 1 offseason need for the Eagles is just a number 1 wide receiver. I think this is as night and day as it is. The defense played much better down the stretch. You don't got to bring everybody back. You got to redo the linebacking core. I agree with all of that. If you just switched Whiteside and Metcalf yesterday, do the Eagles win that game?
Again, that's going to haunt the city forever.
It's a fair question. Do they win the game?
Probably not because Carson Wentz got hurt. I'll throw it. I'll say
I'm with you. I don't think that changes it.
I think Metcalf has progressed tremendously. I don't know that an offensive staff like the Eagles could turn Metcalf into what the Seahawks did. I don't think they could.
I'm going to agree with that.
So even if Metcalf had 1 catch yesterday, just him not being on Seattle, I think might have made the difference because Lockett,
fair point.
He was the best
Very
offensive
good
player either team.
Lockett had a great first half. He was looking really good. Nice catches on the sideline. A lot of control.
Absurd.
He does that though.
He does, absolutely. Some of the best feet in the league.
And now they have a 1A, 1B situation. The Eagles have nothing.
No.
I'd love the Eagles to become a 2 tight end, 2 running back, 1 wide receiver on the outside.
Hell yeah, bring me back to 1970,
Just
dude.
run
Let's
12
do it.
personnel. It works.
At that point, you might as well just get a fullback if you're going to play that heavy.
Look at San Francisco. It's ridiculous.
I think it's just a couple examples here. AJ Green's a free agent this offseason. Odell Beckham Jr. is telling everyone to come and get him. Jerry Jeudy in the draft. It's a little out of the range for the
him or
Eagles.
CeeDee Lamb. I've said that to you
Both
guys
are not going to be there.
a million times. I think I might have said this before, either on camera or to you guys, but this has to be the year they do the Falcons Julio Jones move. They need to move up 10 spots to get a receiver. It has to happen this year.
And let me get.
I'm at this point, the draft capital that you're going to give up in the 3rd or 4th round is not worth taking what you think is a surefire shot to jump for.
I completely disagree.
For
you can grab a 4th round linebacker and he turns into your starter in 2 years. Like you have like there's so many holes on this roster. Free safety, 2 cornerback positions, 2 linebacker positions. At least 2 positions on the defensive line, at least 2 positions on the offensive line, 2 wide receiver positions. Do I need to keep going?
No.
It's an overhaul.
You're preaching to the choir here, but I'm saying that it has shown this season that wide receiver is our biggest need. And I think Jeudy and Lamb, I think you guys would probably agree, unless I'm forgetting someone, are clearly the 2 best receivers that will be in this draft.
Yes.
And
T. Higgins is good, but
I think making the move to get one of those 2 guys are game breakers. Those 2 dudes are going to be Pro Bowlers within a couple years. And I get where you're coming from. That 4th round pick you give up might turn into a starter, but you need to hit the true diamond in the rough to get the same kind of value you'll get out of getting a number 1 receiver out of those 2. In my mind.
That could be fair.
And before we keep going, I want to give you guys my last name here. If you strike out on everybody, I think you have to at least consider going out and getting Antonio Brown.
Ah, yes.
You're signing him straight to the commissioner's exempt list. I'm over that. I'm over that. We're going to move on.
Nothing else, I'm bringing him in.
I'm not, real quick, this city would love that guy. Absolutely love him.
I agree with him.
I think that is grossly overstated.
I mean, obviously, until he goes off the deep end and goes on Twitter rant. But initially, yes.
So
absolutely.
what, training camp? No?
Hey,
was that not my literal fantasy? One of my fantasy football names was Raiders of the Lost Helmet.
Statistically, he's more likely to make it longer in his first team next year than he did the Raiders.
Oh my God. Okay, so we're gonna move on from a person who should never be playing football again to somebody who should be recognized for not only how they play football. Malcolm Jenkins, again. We're going to keep championing this cause because, again, he deserves to win this challenge. All you need to do, you need to go on Twitter and enter the Walter Payton Man of the Year Challenge. What you do is you hashtag. Now, keep in mind, this only works on Twitter. You have to hashtag. There we go.
Yes.
WPMOY challenge space. Don't you forget that space. Jenkins. Hashtag. I'll say this again. Hashtag WPMOY challenge space.
And space is the big one at the bottom of your
space Jenkins. That's how we vote for Malcolm Jenkins to win this Walter Payton Man of the Year challenge and help him keep doing the great work that he has always done wherever he has lived or played. Guys, please, this is very important. We need to recognize Malcolm Jenkins. And if he doesn't get the contract he wants, at least we can do this for him.
He'll get that contract.
I hope they bring him back. He played really well last year.
Down the stretch, the man played off.
I will be livid if they don't bring him back.
As you should be.
There's a difference in not bringing back good players and not bringing back good players who are great locker room presences as well. You don't let guys like that leave. If they do what they did to Dawkins and let Jenkins walk, this fan base, or the smart members of this fan base, because this isn't everybody loves Malcolm Jenkins like Brian Dawkins. Nobody's at that level.
I don't understand.
I do think you need to surround him with athletes, though, because I think he's the smartest person on the defensive side of the field. But you saw
he can't cover everybody like he used to, even a couple years ago, even like 2 years ago.
He needs to be playing in the box.
But if you have athletes around him, I think he's a good guy to have in the center of that secondary.
You need Delpit out of LSU, that center fielder.
I mean, somehow I hope Howie finds a way to get us 3 first-round picks without getting because that's the only way we're getting a receiver and one of the LSU corners.
We got a J.J. Arcega-Whiteside and Sidney Jones. What do you got?
Who might not be on the
I would trade
roster
those
in a couple
two for Jerry Jeudy or CeeDee Lamb. If somebody would be
Howie, see what you can do, pal. So
we're
gonna move right into rapid fire, and guys, everybody knows the rules. 1 minute. That's all we get.
1 minute each.
1 minute each, or less. I'll keep it on the or less side.
So if he only gets 30 seconds, can I get a minute and a half?
No. I'm not seeing my time to you like that.
This is going to be our rapid fire around the NFL edition for what has, again, been a very wild card weekend.
What a great weekend.
Dude,
it was amazing. I had a great time.
You had the best weekend out of all of us.
I had a great weekend.
Yeah.
But, so that leads me into the question. We're going to start there. Yes. Which 6 seed is it that makes the magical run? I saw a hand go up.
VIKES.
There we go.
Vikes. I wish I knew the skull chant so we could do it together, but I don't.
I'm not
Isn't
gonna
it just clap above your head and
Well,
rhythm?
yeah, there's that, and then, I'm not going to do it.
Skull! Okay. I think the Vikings can actually go into San Francisco and beat the Niners. I don't think the Tennessee Titans can do that, go into Baltimore, beat them, just because the style, as much as Tennessee is almost the perfect team to beat Baltimore, they got the run game, they can control the clock. The Vikings are just they are, I think, the most talented team left in the NFC is the 6 seed Vikings. A little bit of a hot take maybe, but if you look around at the roster,
I would not totally disagree with that.
I think the things that they're better at, like especially the wide receiving core, the skill positions, and even the tight ends. I mean, the tight ends on this team.
Rudy.
Who's the other kid? The 81.
Irv Smith Jr.
That guy is scary.
Kid's good.
I think the Vikings.
Okay. I'm going a little bit more on the magical side of things as opposed to the run side of things. I do think the Titans can win this game. I know it sounds crazy. It seems like every year. This is more than it seems like. Every year, the both 1 seeds don't make it to the Super Bowl, right? So we can, if you want to, you can kind of just take one of them out already. I will say this: the Baltimore Ravens lost twice this year. First one was at home against the Chiefs, or was on the road against the Chiefs. Excuse me. The Chiefs had a 23-point second quarter. Mahomes had 375 yards and 3 touchdowns. That is not how the Titans are going to win. The Browns, however, did exactly what the Titans are capable of doing. Baker Mayfield, 380 yards, 1 touchdown. Nick Chubb, 20 carries, 165 yards, and 3 TDs. Derrick Henry had 34 carries against the Patriots. 34. That's like 2 or 3 games for a regular season running back now. So I think if you're going to do it, it's not going to be easy. I'm not picking the Titans to win, but I think if we're going full magic here, I don't see why the Titans don't give Derrick Henry the ball another 30 times and say, hey, you get us 32 minutes time of possession, get yourself 2 touchdowns, and we'll figure everything else out.
Can I just pose to you that neither of those losses happened with Marcus Peters on the team, and the defense was wild?
You can absolutely pose that. Those were back-to-back. I will say this. This also kind of gives me reason to think that the Ravens definitely won't make it to the Super Bowl and could lose this game.
Definitely won't. Wow.
Definitely won't. I have the Chiefs beating them next round regardless. The Ravens have not lost since Week 5. It takes an awful lot to not lose from Week 6 to the Super Bowl. Yeah. It takes an awful lot.
It does.
The Ravens are going to be the classic rest versus Russ case this year because they were able to coast in the last week of the season.
No, to me, I like what you brought up, the Marcus Peters thing, because now they have Peters, Humphrey, Smith, and Carr. All fantastic cornerbacks. A.J. Brown, goodbye. Tannehill is not connecting with him. That's to me what it is. Seth brought this up this morning on Hit 'em High. Hit 'em High, great show brought to you by MyNEWPhilly on
second best show.
Yes, on MyNEWPhilly Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.com. Seth Joyner breaks down everything in a wonderful way. That man is still sharp as a tack. You might want to go check it out. He brought up something this morning about how the Ravens have absolute dogs on that defense.
Yeah.
They are hungry to knock you out. For that, I just don't see. You got to remember who we're talking about here. Ryan Tannehill. Yep. Now, as much as I've been the one calling him Ryan Go to Hill, whatever you want to call him, I don't see them going to the bank, big trust, and doing anything remotely close to what they need against the Baltimore Ravens. That being said, I'm going to go with the Vikings strictly because if there is a team that is as prepared for the San Francisco offense, it's the 49ers because that's the exact same offense that the Vikings run. That's what they practice against every day.
Oh,
now,
that's good to know.
That's Kirk Cousins, Kyle Shanahan. That's the thing. So
let's pocket that. We might want to do a little gambling on this. I like the NFC slate. We'll get to that.
I like the Vikings in the under. Just saying. Okay. So moving on, we have another. I love this matchup. This is what I wanted to see. This is really what I wanted to see. Now the first matchup between these two, Mahomes was out.
Right. Yes, that's right. Holy
right.
God, I forgot about that.
So we get what we were promised on a Sunday afternoon, again on a Sunday afternoon. Who are you going to take at Arrowhead Stadium, Patrick Mahomes or Deshaun Watson?
Oh, this is simple. I'm taking the Chiefs every day, twice on Sunday.
I didn't ask you about the Chiefs.
I'm taking Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, they go hand in hand in this question to me. I love Deshaun Watson. That dude does so much with all of the impediment that his moronic head coach provides him on a week in and week out basis. And I truly feel for Deshaun Watson because eventually they'll fire him. They'll get a different coach in there. And in 2 or 3 years when they do that, that Texans team might be the best team in the AFC, assuming things just don't collapse around Deshaun Watson.
They Chip Kelly'd Bob.
I know. I think Bob Chip Kelly'd himself because Bob is just not that smart of a guy. Does a good job as a GM. Would love Bob as Eagles GM. Would love him. I'll say that happily to the camera. Is the Eagles head coach? Hell no. Stay away. There is no chance that Bill O'Brien can win a road playoff game, at least this year. There's no chance. And frankly, I'd be happy with saying there might not be a chance he'll ever win a road playoff game because every year they're good for the 3 or 4 seed. They'll get that Saturday afternoon game on ESPN. You'll hear Booger and whoever his co-commentator is at that time totally make a goddamn mess of everything. And you'll probably fall asleep waiting for your dinner at 6:30 because those goddamn games are so boring. So I think that the two of them are probably closer than their team successes would indicate. Mahomes is an absolute robot. That guy is an absolute robot, and maybe I'm just higher on him than most. I truly think he could, statistically, career achievements, the whole 9 yards. I think he will be in the GOAT conversation when he's done pending.
The dude's already walking around in a gold jacket.
Major unforeseen negative circumstances.
I got Watson.
Wow.
So casual.
That is so uninspiring.
So
I think I made a good argument.
I know.
You did. You actually made a very good argument. The thing that I can't get off of is I can't shake that Mahomes is still a little bit injured.
I was going to say that.
That's fair.
The mobility is not there, and that's the moving in the pocket and moving the pocket outside, rolling. All that's not really there. He's been a pocket passer a lot more recently. And let me pose it to you like this. I guarantee Will Fuller's playing the game. You have the same opinion about Watson and Mahomes?
Oof.
Because if Fuller's playing, I think this is Watson, and because Watson is healthy. If Mahomes was healthy, this is Mahomes walking away.
Yeah, I still take Mahomes. I think that the only major point of comparison that Watson has him in is durability. And Watson's taken, that dude got sacked 7 times against the Bills. The Texans have had bad offensive line since he got drafted there.
Gets the crap
that play to set up the game-winning score, though, that's
insane.
Probably one of the craziest.
Mahomes doesn't make that play. Injured or pre-knee injury, I don't think he bounces off those guys.
I'd agree with that, but that was, again, still one of the craziest plays I've ever seen a quarterback.
I think we can agree, though, whether you prefer Watson or you prefer Mahomes, this is the best game of the weekend, in my opinion.
I would agree. And I would also say that if I was on the other end of this argument with either of you, it's a good problem to have, and I'll take whoever you guys don't.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to say. So we're talking about going into places and whatever that stadium's called in Wisconsin.
Lambeau?
Sure, whatever you want to call it.
What's the Buck Stadium? Damn, I had a good joke. I just remember that.
They actually got a new one, so they changed it to something with a deer in it. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
So can the Seattle Seahawks, who are fraudulent by all accounts, can they go into Wisconsin? Because I won't say it. And beat the other, I will claim, fraudulent team in the NFC.
The Fraud Bowl.
The team with the white, green, and yellow Georgia Bulldogs
That's
logo.
the one, yes.
Yeah, the white, green, and yellow Georgia University of Georgia logo. That one.
The one I speak of.
Which came first, chicken or the egg on that one? Go ahead.
I'm going to answer your question, and you're going to hate me for this, so you can just turn him down. No, they're not going to win. I think that if that's the best performance they could put out, And like, let's be honest, the Seahawks were not exactly inspiring against the Eagles. Personally, like, I see a team that was very beatable and probably should have lost that game to begin with. So I'll take my chances that Aaron Rodgers, who's maybe the only dude in the NFL who's I feel is comfortable late in the game is Russell Wilson with the ball. I think that whoever has the ball last will win that game, and I have the sinking suspicion it will be the green, yellow, and white Georgia Bulldogs.
Can the Seahawks go into Lambeau and win? They not only can, they will.
Okay.
The NFC Championship game is going to be played in Seattle in 2 weeks.
Oh, you can move over. I know that's what you wanted to do.
I got Vikes over the 49ers, and I got Seattle over Green Bay. Look, I understand that everyone in the city is going to say we are basically a roster of third stringers and forget-me-nots and everybody else. Seattle has historically played down to competition.
Yeah.
And Pete Carroll said at halftime, Wentz being out changes our game plan. Like, we're still adjusting to what's going on here. Now, it makes it easier, sure.
Poor guy. Poor guy had to adjust his defensive game plan.
Do you think the Eagles' defense is better than the Packers?
Yes.
Because I do.
I would have to agree on that, yeah.
And I think that a huge part of this, and you know what? I want to do this now. No one really has mentioned him today from everything I heard. I thought Fletcher Cox had a great game.
Oh,
he did.
I thought he was blowing up that line, and he was doing everything he could to keep them in it.
To press pause on that, they are missing the entire left side of their offensive line and their center.
That's a fair point.
Seattle?
And their tight ends 1 through 3, their running backs 1 through 3. That's just the offensive side of the ball.
I'm still taking them because we have not seen the Green Bay Packers play a complete game maybe all year. The only one that you could say is Week 16 in Minnesota, which was a wonky game for a lot of reasons.
That was a very complete second half.
Thank you.
Extremely fair. But it proves more to my point. Have we seen them play a consistent game of football? I think that 24-3, I think Seattle could still come back. I think there's no hole that Seattle couldn't climb out of in this game. Because, and we talk about this a lot, once they get off the floor scripted plays, they look like a mess out there. So if you can get a touchdown or 2 or 3 in the early possessions, great, because you're going to need them. Yeah. I'm going over on this game, and I'm going Seahawks.
I agree with you over. I'll say this. With a game between two teams that both don't win by more than a possession usually, regardless of how the game goes until the actual score says 0, because the Seahawks and the Packers both, more so the Seahawks, but the Seahawks were big, like let the teams back into it late to kind of look like a closer game kind of deal.
Which is almost what happened yesterday.
Exactly. I'll say this. In a game where two teams both play down to the wire, I'll take my chances with the home team.
Sure. I'm going Seahawks in the under. That's just what I like.
Definitely unbiased.
Seahawks 8-1 on the road this year.
Yes. Fair point. Again, Seahawks in the under. Book it. Excuse me. Now, we just talked about a potential loss, but we have to pivot to the losses that are actually on the scorebook. So, my question to you guys is, do the losses yesterday, this weekend, tell you more about the Patriots or the Aints?
I could lead off on this one. I think it tells you more about the Saints. I think there are higher expectations for the Saints than the Patriots this season. If you were drafting the teams of just like who has the most talent on their roster, New Orleans is in the top 3. New England's probably in the bottom 3, if not bottom 5. While the expectations may have been there, like they're going to make the Super Bowl, that's more of like history and us like becoming accustomed to it.
You don't bet against the Patriots.
Exactly. Right. But that doesn't actually mean that people had faith in them. It doesn't tell me more because this could be an entirely different team next year, or this could be the same exact team. But the Saints, this is the 3rd straight year. You're running out of time on Drew Brees. Tom Brady, his legacy is sealed. He's the greatest quarterback of all time. Drew Brees has 1 ring. He's 8-8 in the postseason.
And yesterday did not look. He got outplayed by Taysom Hill.
How do you put up 20 points on the scoreboard
That's
when you have
weapon Taysom Hill to you?
Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara are consistently 2 of the top 5 players taken in fantasy drafts, meaning that they're 2 of the 5 most explosive offensive players in the league. That's not mentioning Latavius Murray and Jared Cook and all these and
Ted Ginn
and a great line, like a legitimately great line. You put up 20 points at home? Like the Patriots
scrapped to get to 20 points too. They had 10 points going in the 4th quarter.
And you can say the Patriots only had 14 at home. The Patriots offense sucks. We all knew that. If they were going to win this all, it's because of their defense. We all thought the Saints had probably the best offense in this league, and they put up 20 points. What are we talking about?
Yeah. And I think you said it right, and that's why I say it's the Patriots that this tells us more about, because the Saints are like The Saints are the 2007 Boston Celtics where they're still milking 2009 Super Bowl win.
Yep.
And people are still like...
Don't even talk about 2009.
I know, I'm sorry. Look, just turn around for the rest of this.
Jimmy will be back in a sec.
Yeah, so it's just...
2009 was a tough year for me, man.
And it's at this point, I expect this from the Saints because the Saints are all talk. They are the epitome of the bully. Like, they're the bully in the Christmas Story. Give me your lunch money every day. As soon as the lowly 6 seed Vikings, I mean that nicely, as soon as the lowly 6 seed Vikings come and say, no, I'm not giving you my $1.50, and they punch you in the face and you go down crying and run home to your mom. And in this case, the Saints are already home. They don't even need to run anywhere to cry. And yes, I am still a little bit salty about the Saints thinking they were better us than the year in the Super Bowl and them treating it like the Super Bowl when they beat us at home in the divisional round last year. But at this point, we should expect this level of choke from the Saints because at this point, that's what history has shown us. On the other hand, the Patriots do this every year where it's like they're 10-2 going into their Week 13 game at Miami or at the Jets, and it's like somehow the Patriots suck at 10-2 this year. And then they win 4 of their last 5, and it's like, okay, Tom Brady's going to be fine. He'll throw 300 yards in their first playoff game, and they'll trounce the hell out of whoever. And for the first time that I can remember as an adult, the Patriots got the shit kicked out of them at home, and excuse my language, they were out-physicaled at home by a team that scraped into the playoffs by replacing their franchise quarterback with a 31-year-old who's missed 3 full seasons due to injury. Ryan Tannehill's 31. I didn't know that.
Oh, he's old.
I know.
He came out of A&M old as well.
Exactly.
So he started
you don't think that. He missed
24.
3. Yeah. So I think it shows more about the Patriots. The last few years, the holes have been starting to get a little bit wider in the armor. You're starting to see the sides on the weak points open up, like on the rib cage and right underneath the sternum. And yesterday, it felt like that last hole got put into it, and the whole chest plate just crumbled and shattered and fell off. And I don't think anyone's more surprised by it than Patriots fans, and I feel like that's all you need to know.
Can we do a quick roundtable? Is this the end of the Patriots?
No.
Not saying it until they miss the playoffs.
Until it's done.
I'll say this. This was the second to last step. I mean, losing at home as the 3 seed after blowing your bye week the week before, like, that's a pretty, like, if I was a Patriots fan or using the Eagles as a comparison, I would be livid if this is how the Eagles season ended. I don't care about my 20 years of dominance. You look at this season in a vacuum, and I think the Patriots are in serious soul searching mode going forward.
That's fair. I'll give that to you. All I'm going to say is 3 straight walk-off touchdowns in the playoffs. So,
yeah.
That's all I've got for that. So we're going to move right into tap-outs before we get out of here, guys. Who wants to go first?
I got something nice and
there you go.
Everyday relatable.
Cool.
I am so sick of owning an automobile. Every day it's just problems and issues, and I wanted to take some time over my holiday break and bring my car to any of the many, many auto body shops in Philadelphia. That's all I wanted. I can never have my car for no more than like a couple days because I come here on Mondays. I do things during the week. And all I try to do is just for like 3 or 4 days straight, hey, can I just leave my car here for a couple of days? Can I just leave my car here for a couple of days? No, I can't get to it until Monday. Maybe not till Tuesday. I would say just bring it back here maybe in the afternoon on Monday or Tuesday. And you know what? I didn't even bother because at this point, I needed my car on Monday night for the show. I needed my car on Tuesday to go to a family thing. And now here I am a whole week and a half later, and my car is still not fixed, hasn't been brought to a shop, hasn't been looked at. And I don't know jack diddly squat about cars, so I can't fix it myself. And I don't want to have my vehicle spontaneously combust while I'm in there. So yeah, I'm in a little bit of a dilemma. So probably going to have to take some time off work and have to tell my boss, like, hey, I have to take off work because I need to bring my car in to get fixed. So yeah, I'm pissed about this. I hate cars. I told you guys about this. I only drive one because there's no better realistic alternative. No, I'm not riding my bike back to the suburbs. That would take me 4 hours. Okay, get off my back. You eco-friendly Look, if you can do something with cars, please just hit me up. Damn, like, I'll pay you extra money. I just don't want to deal with this anymore. I'm just so over this.
Well, it just sounds like you need a mechanic. You need to fire
I need a mechanic who's open. I need to find a mechanic who's open and won't tell me that they need me to wait until after the weekend to look at my car. That doesn't work. That's not practical.
Talk to us after the show. We have some suggestions for you, Fred.
This is not the day to talk about this.
A whole lot of sauce. We're going to move on to Sean.
I have nowhere near the problems that Max has. I actually wanted to spend my time in tap-outs talking about my favorite part of Wildcard Weekend because it was magic. I can't stop smiling when I think about it. Mike Vrabel, you're the man. I love you.
Vrabel's awesome.
Like 6:10 on the clock, something like that. You know that you can burn that clock down to 5 minutes. You do it, man. Screw Belichick. He's been doing shit like this since the beginning of time. Sorry, I got a little more agitated than I was expecting to. Stick it to him. Stick it to the old man. Bring home the dub, Vrabel. Keep doing shit like that. It was incredible. I loved it. Tap out.
Your turn.
Thanks.
Get loud.
Thanks, guys. Now I'm going to keep it right down here because that was a little bit too much for me to handle. I can only imagine what you are feeling back there. So I'm just going to keep it nice and sweet. Football season, as we all know, is around 20 weeks of don't disturb your boyfriend, significant other, brother, son, husband, whatever, on Sundays, which I'm cool with. What I will tell you, though, if you are a life partner, a girlfriend, a boyfriend of anybody who likes watching football, you had your shot to do something on Sundays. You did. You had the regular season to claw them out of the house, to tell them, oh, do your laundry, to tell them take a shower, to tell them to do meal prep for the week. You had your shot because we're not doing anything during the playoffs. It's not happening.
No, I don't even have a horse in the race anymore. I'm not doing anything the next two Sundays and the next Saturday.
His girlfriend is not going to be able to get this man to walk anywhere but the bathroom and to the couch. So all I'm saying is you got a couple other weeks, and it's not going to be fun, so strap in. And you might hear some words you're not used to hearing.
We try to prepare you
with
that
tonight. Give them a little bit of space if they need it, everything like that. Again, we apologize, but we're not sorry for spending the time. So that's going to be everything for us tonight here on Trust the Process Live. Brought to you by MyNEWPhilly, where something's always new and everything's always Philly. Way to
Philadelphia. It's been a great year. Good night.
And now your watch has ended.
Good luck in the depression protocol. I'll be joining you soon.
Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl, by the way.
This song is a banger.
Not enough of a banger to cheer me up.
A banger.